Greetings and welcome to yet another video. This video I'm gonna list 5 reasons why I don't like Harley Quinn. It's not a top 5 list or anything, I'm just gonna bring them up in random order. Yeah, it's gonna be a very whiny, salty video where I just whine and cry about why Harley Quinn is no good. And of course, if you like Harley Quinn, that's absolutely fine, and keep in mind that these are just my personal opinions. I'm not saying that other people aren't allowed to like Harley Quinn just because I don't like her. I'm fine with you liking Harley Quinn, so you should be fine with me not liking her, okay? And if you do like Harley Quinn, feel free to write down 5 reasons why you think she's good. That could be interesting to read. Get another perspective on it. Anyway, let's just jump right into the subject at hand, and my first reason is she can't stand on her own. She started off as the Joker's henchwoman and girlfriend in Batman the Animated Series, but now she's become a character of her own, and personally, I don't think it really works. I mean, the whole point of the character, or at least it used to be, that she was this innocent, easily manipulated woman who was completely duped by the Joker, completely duped into thinking that he's some kind of victim and that the rest of society are the bad guys. That used to be the point of the character, and it really is still her origins. That's still what she's based on. So given that, it doesn't really make any sense for her to continue on being a supervillain after she's ditched the Joker. What would make sense is her realizing how Joker has tricked her, and her returning to a normal life and trying to atone for her sins, realizing all the bad she's done. Yeah, given her motivations as to why she started this life of crime in the first place, it doesn't really make any sense at all for her to continue on beyond the Joker. The only reason it would make sense is if you made her evil from the start, but that kind of ruins her. It completely ruins her interesting and compelling origin story. You're basically changing the character into something unrecognizable, and that's a whole lot less interesting. And my next reason is she's become some kind of anti-hero. Yeah, modern Harley Quinn isn't really a straight-up villain anymore. She's more like some kind of morally ambiguous anti-hero. Actually, I'm not really sure what to call her. Is she a superhero slash supervillain at the same time? It's really strange, whatever she is. Can anybody explain what she is nowadays? Of course, if she is a superhero, you could argue that this is her way to atone for her sins. But that's not really what's going on, because she's still doing lots of evil stuff. She's killing people left and right. Like I said, she's morally ambiguous nowadays. She does commit some acts of heroism, but she also commits lots of acts of villainy. She's sort of become DC's Deadpool, this quirky, funny, kooky anti-hero character who just does crazy wacky stuff. And given what the character is based in, her origins and background and history, that depiction just doesn't really make any sense. And it's not a very interesting depiction either. Frankly, I think modern Harley Quinn mainly just comes off as annoying. Her jokes and wacky antics usually aren't very funny anyway, and she's really more just obnoxious. And my next reason as to why I don't like Harley Quinn is they completely butchered her visual design. The original Harley Quinn design from the animated series, and that was later used for many years in the comics as well, was great. A Harlequin jester outfit. It looks great, I really like that design. Fits with the clown motif perfectly as Joker's sidekick, looks great standing next to him. But what we have now barely resembles a clown or a jester or a harlequin whatsoever. She kinda just looks like a painted up street hooker. That's really what she looks like nowadays. I mean, let's be honest here, even the most hardcore Harley Quinn fans can at least agree that she barely looks like a jester anymore. She really looks more like a street hooker. It's an awful design in my opinion, especially for this character who's supposed to look like a harlequin. That's why she's called Harley Quinn, because she's supposed to be a harlequin, not a streetwalker turning tricks. And my next reason for not liking Harley Quinn is a really salty reason. She completely outshines the other much better Batman villains. Well, except for the Joker, of course. We have all these classic Batman rogues that have existed since the Golden Age, like Two-Face and the Penguin and the Riddler and the Scarecrow, and so on, that I personally like a lot more and feel are a lot better characters than Harley Quinn. But they're given a lot less attention nowadays than she is. I mean, she's had her own solo comic book series for 20 years now. She has an animated show and she's appeared in 3 movies, and one of them was basically her own solo movie, the Birds of Prey movie. The Birds of Prey were barely in it. It really was a Harley Quinn movie. Plus all the countless merchandising she has. A lot more than the other classic Batman villains. Besides the Joker, of course. Yeah, I know, it's kinda petty and kinda salty, but I'm kinda jealous. Jealous of Harley Quinn's popularity and fame. I feel it belongs to these other rogues that I like better. They should have it. I don't feel she deserves it in the first place. She's really not that good. And my final reason for not liking Harley Quinn is she's kinda ruined Poison Ivy too. Yeah, she's dragged another villain into this misery. Poison Ivy, one of my personal favorite Batman villains, used to be a villain, a big villain. But what is she nowadays? She's just Harley Quinn's sidekick and girlfriend, kinda. I mean, sure, she does still make solo appearances without Harley Quinn, but most of the time it is connected to Harley as Harley's sidekick or follower or whatever she is. Best friend, best gal, girlfriend, I don't know what they are, wife. I think Ivy is better than Harley Quinn. I think she deserves a lot better. I think she should just be a solo villain like the other male rogues are. She doesn't need to be shackled to this sidekick. She's become the sidekick of a sidekick. This character who once used to be a great big villain on her own. And Poison Ivy is just a lot better of a character than Harley Quinn anyway. If anything, Harley should be Ivy's sidekick. But Harley is a lot more popular for some reason. Yeah, I want the old Ivy back. The Ivy who was actually a big villain and a big threat. And not just some awkward plant lady who follows a crazy clown girl around. Harley, you ruined Poison Ivy. And there you have it. Those are my 5 reasons as to why I don't like Harley Quinn. Again, a lot of you are probably gonna be pretty upset about this video, but do keep in mind that these are just my personal opinions. And you're perfectly allowed to have your own personal opinions. You're allowed to completely disagree with everything I've just said. And of course, as always, remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.